Why do I want to be mayor? Well, I think we've accomplished a lot in 4 years. Always felt I could give back to the community, and I think we've done a lot. We've got a good solid foundation built. We've had to make some tough decisions the last 4 years, and I think the next 4 years are going to be all about community building and sort of where we go from here now that we're in a better position to do that. And I'd like to finish what I started. I feel like we're halfway through what we want to accomplish, and I'd like to finish that off if possible.
What are the top 3 issues that you think are facing the City of Kawartha Lakes right now?
I think the top 3 issues are probably, number one is always affordability. We want to build a vibrant community. We want to, we want to grow. We want to have things. Everybody wants something, but sometimes nobody wants to pay for it. And it's a tough city. It's a big city. There's a lot of infrastructure. There's not a lot of a tax base. So affordability, I think, is always a big one. We need to find that happy medium. How do we deliver as a government our core services to our residents without overtaxing them and trying to do too much? So that's always a tricky balance we're needing to find. And the other thing is, I think we've turned a big corner as far as city. I don't want to say amalgamation, but every year it comes together more and more and more. And I think we're really starting. I'm feeling a very positive energy in every corner of the city when I visited and talked to people. And people have concerns obviously in different areas, but I think it's a different conversation now. It's not about how do we fix this that's broken in the past. Now it's become more about where do we go from here, and I look forward to having those conversations over the next 4 years. I really do.
What do you think the city has done right over the last 4 years?
I think we've done
council in general.
Yeah, in council in general. I mean, I think we've made some good decisions. I think I can tell you that I'm a big fan of going down to 8 councillors, with the mayor. I think that was a huge decision. I think you're seeing the Toronto situation following our lead. I think what you're probably going to see over the next 10 years is right across Ontario, this is going to be mandated to councils. I think it's the only way we can go. We need to do things better. We need to do things more efficiently. So I think, we're ahead of the curve in that regard. And I think our financial plan that we've done as a municipality is huge. I talked to other municipalities and say, how could we get to the point of putting a plan together like you have? And not everybody's in favor of it, but it's a bold move, and I think it's going to move us forward in the next 10 years, leaps and bounds. I really do.
One of the things people keep bringing up to me is the time that it takes to get building permits and the time that it takes to get things done. And you mentioned one other time when we spoke that building permits are up 20% or 30% or something like that. So how did we accomplish that, and what can we do going forward to increase that, like to improve upon that even?
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't always had the best reputation as a city, as a friendly place to grow and build, and I think those comments are justified. When we got into term 4 years ago, one of the first things we did was form a task force in the building and planning department, made up of developers and builders and all the people that are having these issues. And they came forward with 19 recommendations. We've implemented 17 of those. It's not going to change overnight. Didn't get that way overnight. It's not going to come back overnight. But I think what you're seeing, the result in the increase in building permits, is a result of some of those decisions. It's customer service training. It's a few extra people to deal with some of the issues, and it's putting some processes in place that make it more streamlined. So we're turning them around under the provincial average now. But I think what people have to understand is there's still always going to be issues because of the nature of the planning process. Some applications are simple, some are complicated, and some aren't complete when we get them. And sometimes when something takes a while, it's not just because our staff are pushing it off, it's because an exterior consultant isn't doing their work properly. It can be both. I mean, we're not perfect, don't get me wrong, but we've come a long way in our processes, and now if we can sort of put some ideas forward to our building and planning people who want to develop in our community, I think when we put those two together, that's an area that's going to continue to improve.
We did some Facebook polls, as you probably noticed, and one of our Facebook polls was on roads. And we asked people if they would prefer to have better roads or higher taxes. And the majority of the people that we polled said better roads, which surprised me. So what would you do with that if you got in again on improving roads?
So you're saying better roads or more taxes?
Yeah, so they're basically saying if their taxes had to go up, they would agree with that for better roads.
Sure. Okay, well, I guess that's
I was shocked. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, interesting. Well, I think we've taken, and I go back to our 10-year financial plan we put in place. That's a plan that allows us to start improving our roads. Everybody's talked about roads for the last 20 years. Nobody's done anything about it. So this council chose to do something about it. We borrowed some money. We're not in trouble with our debt, despite what everybody likes to say. We're not even on the radar's blip, you know, as far as the province goes. We're not on the radar at all. We have lots of debt capacity, so let's use it wisely. And we borrowed $25 million on a fixed loan over 10 years. This year in our budget, we put $5 million more into our rural roads, and people are going to start to see a difference. We haven't been spending enough on our roads. We've been cutting budgets every year, cutting brushing, cutting ditching, cutting maintenance to keep tax increases to a minimum, and you're starting to see what the results of that is. It's caught up to us. We're not putting the money into our infrastructure that we need to. This council reversed that. And, you know, a lot of people aren't in favor of going further into debt, but it's a fixed thing. It'll be paid off in 10 years, and it's going to result in, the next few years, people are going to see a market improvement in the roads. It also includes a $4.6 million, as you know, on our gravel road rehabilitation program. So 35 of our worst gravel roads are going to be rebuilt, not just graded, rebuilt, so they don't get into that condition in the first place come springtime. So I think people are going to notice a big difference over the next few years. You just have to be a little patient.
Okay. And the other poll that we did was around the Walmart.
Yeah.
And the majority of people thought that bringing a Walmart to the city is an election issue, and it's kind of something that they want.
Sure.
Obviously.
Sure.
So where are we on that, and what's your feeling on that?
I would say it's not an election issue because the municipality has nothing to do with it. We've zoned it as a council. We've given them all their approvals. It's now in the hands of the developer and the Walmart, which is a private. I know people have wanted a Walmart here for 13, 14 years. We've been talking about it. I believe it's coming. That's an announcement that, you know, the private developer will have to make when they've got their signature on the dotted line, I guess. But you can see finally the progress being made out there with the dirt being moved, and I'm in constant communications with the developer, and he's got 6 or 7 companies on the go, commercial, to start developing in that area once he gets to the point that he's ready to make some of those commitments. So again, I think over the next few months you're going to see some pretty exciting news coming out of that corner of the municipality, and people will be pleased.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I just, you know, people ask me why I want to do this again, and and I think the biggest answer I can give is I want to finish off what we started. I think we've got a great foundation. We've come to a good place in our municipality, and I'm hearing a lot of positive energy out there, and I want to be I want to help sort of move that forward. So